Hello, I am Donny, and I am the cute one.
And I am Chelsea, and I am the cute one.
And it's Friday, cuties, TGIF.
TGIF.
Now, let's just be honest with you right off the bat. We are batching this episode so that you have something to listen to, even if Chelsea and I are on vacation or have a life event, etc. So I'd love to tell you how my week went, but I can't because I don't know what week it is.
Yeah, all those current events, weren't they crazy? I can't believe that thing happened. And did you watch that one show?
It was good, wasn't it?
It was really good. Shocking show, that thing that aired that everyone's talking about. And that funny tweet and headline that's going around. Hilarious.
Love that. But I did bring a story, because I can't let a moment go where I'm not talking about myself. I did bring a story that is evergreen. I work at the theater, as you know, and Lin-Manuel Miranda came to see the show this week, and my heart dropped, because recently on this podcast, he was a special guest. And I was like, is he here to send me a cease and desist?
Do you know that he follows me? At the time of this recording, he follows me.
No.
Yeah, check if he follows you, because you did tag him, didn't you?
I'm sure he doesn't. No, he follows you, and I am 30 AF. I wonder if that's, remember when they posted you? Maybe. I wonder if that's when he followed you.
He loved that tweet about yelling, "Oh, skeet, skeet," in front of Grandma.
I'm going to message him and say, she hates Broadway.
But loves Encanto, so familiar with his other work.
Oh my God. Okay, this is airing my business, not even mine, other people's, but this was nuts. So when he came in first before anyone else got to the theater, and then they took him to a seat. But he walked past the ushers, and there was one usher, and she's kind of like Forrest Gump. Like every time she tells a story, I'm like, you were there at the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
I was the one who told John Hancock to write his name so big.
Like, it is always something like that. So when he came in, she ran down the steps, because we sit on the staircase and have our meetings. She ran down the steps, and everyone said, where are you going? She said, I have to get a picture with him. And they were like, no, that's inappropriate. We're not allowed to do that. And she's like, I have to get a picture. He's going to know who I am. I saved Puerto Rico.
What? It's like Shannon Bedore saying that her dentist told her in a past life she saved many civilizations or whatever.
I think that makes more sense. She said she bought 2 air purifiers. He must have posted a link at one point and was like, Puerto Rico needs your help. So she bought 2 things that he said he wanted people to donate money to. And she was like, and he remembers me in my purple dress. Like, I don't know what purple dress you're talking about, and I'm not going to ask.
I love that logic that 2 air purifiers is actually saving Puerto Rico. Did he remember her?
So we all said, no, you cannot do that. You cannot go talk to him. So then when the show was about to begin and we're all standing on our aisles, handing out playbills, we looked and she was gone. And sure enough, we looked down at his seat, and there she was, taking a selfie. And she came back, and she said, he said he loved my purple dress. You are lying!
Wow.
Anyway, that's that. But also at the theater this week, this man came in. It was 15 minutes during the show. He came in, he had a suit jacket, glasses, looked like an old white professor. And he said, my wife is in there. I was already in, and I realized I left my glasses at the restaurant. I had to run out and get them. I'm just going back in to see the show. We were like, okay. And then once he got through the doors, we said, wait a second. The same thing happened last week. And I think it was him. So then we stopped him and said, hi, sir, you have your ticket? And he said, no. My wife has it. She's inside, but the show already started. I ran out, blah, blah, blah. And we said, okay, but did this happen to you last week as well? And then he kind of shut down, and he was like, no, I saw the show last week, but then I loved it so much I brought my wife back. And we said, okay, but you said the same story last week. So then we called security, our building security. And then our building security called the company security, and they came in. And then when company security came in, they kicked him out. But then we found out he and his wife do it to all the Broadway shows. They take turns playing this little scam game.
Oh my God, that's like when I worked in retail, and there was this couple that would come around and they would push a stroller, and the wife was really pregnant. But then we found out it was this shoplifting ring, and they would be putting things into the stroller. And also, she wasn't pregnant. It was an empty shell, and she used to shove things in there. And so my manager caught them, and then it turned out they were hitting like all of the stores on this same block.
That is brilliant. If this podcast thing doesn't work out, I do think we could be con artists.
Maybe. Ask, believe, receive. And that's a great segue to what we're going to be talking about today.
Wonderful.
Because today we are going to be giving unsolicited, unqualified advice to all of you cuties. So as a disclaimer, this is for entertainment purposes only. We are in no way, shape, or form qualified to be giving this advice, especially because our own lives are in shambles most of the time. So don't take any of this seriously unless it works out, in which case tell everybody how smart we are.
Yeah. And when you're telling them how smart we are, also tell them to go to our YouTube and to like and subscribe. And the link is in the show notes so they can do it easily.
Marvelous. Well, once again, this week brought us a whole bunch of stuff, I'm sure. And somehow we've made it to Friday yet again. So let's get into our cries for help, shall we? And if you guys like this, let us know and we can kind of make it a recurring bit whenever we have to batch content. If you hate it, still rate us 5 stars and say, don't do that again. So our first cry from help says, I'm feuding with the upstairs neighbors. I'm running out of petty things to bother them. Help. I love this.
Me too. So as the cuties know, or maybe you forgot, I have a drunk upstairs neighbor who makes a lot of noise, makes a lot of commotion, usually locks himself outside of the building, and I'm only 1 floor up, so I am always the one he like yells through my window to get my attention. So I do hate this man with my entire guts. So I sometimes try to bother him. And what I do, my music taste is very specific. So I blast it as loud as I can because it doesn't bother me. And that's the thing you have to do when you're bothering someone upstairs or next door or whatever. You need to bother them, but not you. So like, sure, you could put on alarm noises, but that's going to make you have a stroke. So put on Ashley Tisdale, put on Sneaker Night by Vanessa Hudgens on repeat and turn it up as loud as you can. And then what I really like to do is do that when I have to go to work for 8 hours.
Ooh, maybe the same song on a loop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like Friday by Rebecca Black.
Ooh,
over and over and over on a Thursday. It'll drive them crazy. But yeah, I think you bring up a good point, Donny, because the thing about being petty is you do have to unleash the psychological warfare on the other person while protecting yourself. You don't want to do something like a stink bomb where you're going to have to smell it as well. But if there's a favorite dish you love that might smell pretty pungent, then you get a great dinner and they get a whiff of it upstairs, perhaps.
Yeah, I like that. It's also tough to be petty against the upstairs neighbor because you can't just stomp, but they can.
So you do have to be prepared for retaliation. And I have to say, this is the most important part. This is just a life skill across the spectrum. Leave enough room for plausible deniability, which is an Elle Woods term for it needs to be on the side of passive aggression so that if they were to confront you directly, they sound crazy. You know what I mean? Like, you can't make it so obvious you're doing things to bother them. It has to be like, I'm so sorry. Wait, oh no, I was learning how to play Rebecca Black Friday on the piano. Oh my gosh, that was playing that whole time. My Siri has been going crazy lately. Like, you have to have a plan where they sound petty for confronting you.
True. And with that said, they are the upstairs neighbor, so it's easier for them to make noise. So yes, being passive-aggressive is our first go-to. However, if you hate them because they make a lot of noise, they stomp too much, they have sex and the bed squeaks at 3 a.m, whatever the issue is, have you tried just talking to them about it? As a regular human, no upsetness to it. Just like, hi, I understand you are getting your back blown out at 3 o'clock in the morning, but I have to wake up at 6 o'clock for work.
Yeah, that is probably step 1. But if you've already done that, then all of the other things.
Yes.
And I would also just give the disclaimer and reminder that I'm assuming this cutie is in the United States. And if you are, everybody has guns. So also just be careful, because we don't know who's packing.
You know what? You're right. And on that note, my cutie said, my birthday's coming up and I want to travel outside of the country, but my friends don't have the money for it. Is it okay if I travel alone?
So I, again, am unqualified and also uncultured. So I don't have much firsthand experience with traveling outside of the country by myself or with people. But I will say, yeah, if this is something that you feel confident and comfortable doing, like if you are somebody who travels a bunch, yeah, that sounds like a lovely time. But I would say make sure that your vacation is one that is suited for being safe. Like maybe that isn't a time where you're staying in hostels and backpacking across Europe. Maybe that's like an all-inclusive resort where you lay and drink pina coladas.
Yeah. Everything Chelsea said, but then also, it is your birthday. That is the first thing we have to focus on here. So if your idea of fun on your birthday is to take a shit on the White House lawn, do it. Don't let no bitch with no bank account stop you. So whatever you want to do is what you should do. Now, I do think you need to weigh, like, because it will change. Like, if I wanted to go to the Poconos with Chelsea and Kendrick and Taria and Tom and Kix and Amanda, that is my idea of fun. But then if none of them could go, do I still want to go to the Poconos? Or do I want to hang out with those people that can't go? You have to pick which one is more fun in the version of fun. So if your friends are what make it fun, then I think you should stay and do something with your friends. But if the place is what makes it fun, then go to the place. And like Chelsea said, go to an all-inclusive resort, get drunk so you hallucinate that they are there.
Drunk dial them a whole bunch,
Oh,
call
yeah.
them broke,
They'll love
call
that.
them
Yeah.
poor. Maybe make a Paris Hilton shirt, stop being poor.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
that's
post
perfect.
pictures of you in different locations, sending it to the group chat. I love that. Getting back to the petty roots of it.
Yeah.
But you know what? I like this cutie a lot because I can tell they're a good friend, because I was scared when you started that sentence that they were saying their friends couldn't afford it, so they were going to make their friends go. I am the poor friend of my group, and there's nothing worse than like a friend saying they want to do something, but then not understanding, like, no, I can't just go to Paris for the weekend. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And then it becomes the poor friend's problem, because let's say they gather up enough coins in their couch cushions to go to Paris for the weekend, but then they can't do anything there. So either the rich friends have to take care of them, and then you feel guilty about it the whole time, or you spend the whole time saying like, no, I'm just going to get one French fry and a water. And then that's not fun for anyone either. So if your friends are poor, let them be poor and stay home. And if you're poor, don't feel guilty about it. Do what you can and don't do what you can't.
Wow, we're so smart. We should give a TED Talk.
We should. You know what this reminds me of, though? Not a TED Talk. It reminds me of Wendy Williams when she used to do advice at the end. So now you don't have to. I'm going to start all my questions like this. Hey, Chelsea and Donny, how you doing?
How you doing? We both just sound like Joey Tribbiani when we're doing our Wendy Williams impression.
I do not. No, mine is so good. How you doing?
Donny.
You don't think that's good? It does not
No.
sound like Joey. It's
You are like
so
an
good.
extra in Scarface. You are not Wendy Williams.
Yes. How you doing?
You doing, how you doing, over and over again, it doesn't make it more like Wendy Williams, just repeating it.
Okay, you know what I have to do? I should just do it later, but I'm going to do it right now so the cuties can witness this. I'm going to record it, and then I'm going to listen to it, because you know in your head you sound different.
Great. Okay.
How you doing? That is so good, Chelsea. You're nuts. You don't know what Wendy Williams sounds like.
Cuties weigh in. This is on YouTube. Leave a comment below. Just write yes or no. We'll know what you're talking about. Yes, does Donny sound like Wendy Williams? Or no, does he absolutely not? And if not, who specifically does he sound like? Because it is someone and it ain't Wendy.
One more time, just so you can really focus on it as you leave your comment. How you doing?
Okay, this one's a little bit more serious. My husband doesn't want our 7-year-old painting his nails and is punishing me for doing it. What the fuck? I don't think you need our advice. It sounds like you know the answer is what the fuck. And I just want to say good for you for being a good mom and painting your 7-year-old's nails.
Yeah, I love that. It is tough for me to give advice on this as well because, like Chelsea said, you do have your opinion on it already, and that's the opinion I agree with. So anything else I say is just going to be hyping you up, but I also don't want to get a unqualified advice request for next week saying, after I did what you two told me to do, I'm now getting a divorce.
I'm now getting a divorce.
Uh-huh.
Please help me with the funds because as we've stated previously, we're poor.
We can't go to Paris with you.
Whoever your son ends up being, the most important thing is he's going to look back on his childhood and be like, my mom supported the shit out of me and
Yeah.
it made me the person I am today. So you keep doing you and fuck your husband.
Yeah, you're a great mom. The next one, I don't know if it was supposed to go to us or not. It says, Helen, I can't stop being a grumpy jerk.
Helen.
I'm sorry this didn't go to Helen. It did go to Chelsea and Donny. I think if you are a grumpy jerk and can't stop, that you should just stop, basically. Whatever is triggering you, if it's like work or whatever, paying bills, you can't stop doing that. But if it's certain things in your life, hanging out with certain people, being married to certain people, I don't know what else it could be. But whatever the trigger is, just spend less time doing it. Focus on you first.
Focus on you, yeah. And I do hope you get in touch with Helen. It seems like it would be important for you to do so. But I think also, if you get into a cycle of being a grumpy jerk, I think figuring out like what is at the root of that grumpy jerkness. Because nobody wakes up and is like, I want to be a grumpy jerk today. So are you feeling overwhelmed? Are you feeling burnt out? Are you feeling angry? Are you feeling disappointed by people? Are you feeling let down? Also, this should go for any person asking us questions. Number one, because you're asking us questions, but therapy is always a great option too, to have somebody to like talk through these things with. But I think with being a grumpy jerk, this is really cheesy, but I've started doing it. There is something about a gratitude list, either right when you wake up or right when you go to bed, picking 3 things that you're happy about in your life or grateful about in your life, because I think that our brains are always just like searching for things that are going wrong. And so trying to like retrain your brain to be like, oh, but actually my bed is really comfortable. My dog is really cute. It doesn't have to be life-changing, but it has made a difference in my attitude. Because then throughout the day, I'm thinking like, oh, that's something I could put on my gratitude list. And it helps you kind of reframe, I think.
Also, I appreciate your support. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you for following us. Thank you for submitting questions. I appreciate it. But you did submit a question to people that are unqualified to answer. So I think that you just enjoy being online, which I do too. But then I will give this advice to myself as well. Because I enjoy being online, I do start my day online. So I'm not even out of bed yet and I'm on Twitter. So to have all that hostility and negativity seep into me before I'm even on the toilet in the morning.
Taking in shit before you get rid of your shit.
That starts the morning on a bad foot. So I would say perhaps wake up, do Chelsea's gratitude list, go to the bathroom, and then maybe go to the social media accounts that bring you joy before you take in the Looney Tunes on the internet. Which might be us.
It could be. I do think we need to leave hate following in the past. Because I do think there are a lot of people that will hate follow people and they think that it's bringing them joy to like snark on other people. And there is, believe me, look at us. We talk shit all day long, every day, all the time. There is a like tipping point where it's like, am I following this person because I like to shit on them? Or am I now seeking this out so that I can feel enraged and alive? Conversely, from all of that advice, if you can't get offline, maybe start a meme account. Because anybody with a meme account is a grumpy jerk and they make memes about it.
That's true. But then at least people will laugh at it.
My friends want me to block the guy I drunk text, but what if I block him and he suddenly realizes he's in love with me?
That's not going to happen.
To quote a famous movie, he's just not that into you.
Yeah. And I think what might happen is you'll block him and that will make him reach out some other way just because he likes the challenge. And then you'll find out still not that into you, which could have been the sequel. If he's not talking to you, it's for a reason. You don't need to be drunk to message him because in your sober mind, you know that you should not be messaging him either. So if you only do it when you're drunk with the help of alcohol, then you know deep down, whatever it is. I don't know if you've slept together yet. Maybe the sex was trash. Maybe you haven't slept together and you just don't have anything in common. But for whatever reason, there's not a connection there. And I think you should trust this. And if you want to be really crazy like I am, find a way to flip it where you are the one with power here, and he is the one you don't
I love that.
Thank
and
you.
I have been there before. I have been a drunk texter. I have also been somebody who put somebody in their phone as like, do not call, stop calling, do not answer. I have tried all the tricks of the trade. If you are not at the point yet of blocking the person, if you can guarantee, if you're not a runaway drunk person, if you're not somebody that like leaves the group when you get wasted, but if you can guarantee you're going to be in the vicinity of your friends for the night, giving your phone to your friend and them being in charge of your phone. And if you want to drunk text this person, you have to tell them what you're going to say. And sometimes that's enough. Sometimes the shame, even in a drunk state, will kick in when you have to say what you are going to text out loud to another person.
That's true. Also, I will say, and I'm not shaming you, Cutie that submitted this, I'm not shaming you. I'm shaming me for doing this in the past. If your friends feel the need to block him, they are sick of hearing about it. So I'm not telling you shouldn't vent anymore. I'm not telling you shouldn't talk to your friends about what's going on in your life, but you have made this man such a presence in your life, and he's not a presence in your life, obviously, that your friends are fed up. So I think it is time to let him go. Choose your friends over him. Choose yourself over him.
I love that. Yeah. And again, we're both speaking from the place of being a crazy bitch. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to be the Carrie Bradshaw. You don't want to be sitting around at brunch missing the fact that your friends are going through what they're going through because you're going to bring up Mr. Big again.
Right.
And if he is your Mr. Big, don't get him a Peloton, number one.
Or maybe do sooner.
Yeah, send him a Peloton tomorrow is actually our advice. No, but that was like said in jest, but you really are holding out hope that he's going to fall in love with you. He is more likely to do so with space and without waking up in the morning and seeing whatever dissertation drunk you has delivered him that evening. Mm-hmm. So sometimes space and getting that clear head and letting him miss you a little bit is the key. Clearly this isn't working, and I don't think the cycle of drunk texting is going to make him wake up one morning and be like, this is the woman I want to be with.
Agreed. Are we ready for the next one?
Yeah, let's end with this one.
All right. Hey, Donny and Chelsea. How you doing? How can I help my coworker stop being annoying all the time? Baby, if you can find out, help
Let
me.
us know. Look at my coworker right here. You think I have the answer?
Well, it depends. There's two different kinds of ways I could read this question. If it is something they do that you can tell them to stop, like, oh, Susan, I noticed you think it's funny to put a whoopee cushion on my chair every morning. Let me tell you, it's not. Then I think you can just be honest and say that. But if it's something like Susan talks about her cats every morning to you, I don't know if there is a way to stop it, but there is a way for you to remove yourself from that. And whether you have to like pretend you have more work, whether you have to use the bathroom every morning, cut your time with Susan down so she doesn't feel so comfortable talking about the cats to you. I think it just depends what you mean by annoying.
Annoying is a spectrum, and God knows we cover all our bases. But I think also you can set your own boundaries without affecting what other people are doing. I think a lot of times people think like boundaries are forcing the other person to change, but it's really just like protecting your space in your own little bubble. And so if Susan won't shut the fuck up about cats, it's like maybe come in with headphones and then say like, oh, I'm really trying to work on being focused in the morning. I'm not having our little chit chat. Gonna miss it, Susan.
And a lot of people hype things up in their head so much that I bet if you said that to Susan, it might feel like you are truly like pulling the rug out from under her and knocking down the walls of the building you work in. But if you say, hey, Susan, I just got to work today, I don't think Susan will care. She has her cats to go home to.
The thing about the Susans of the world, they'll find somebody else to talk about their cats too. So I think remembering that, and I think also if it's the type of annoying where it's bordering on offensive, like if it's that type of coworker, saying, oh, that's so embarrassing you said that out loud. I don't think you meant to say that out loud. That goes a long way. My favorite thing, and again, going back to plausible deniability, you say, wait, sorry, can you explain that to me?
Oh.
Wait, you laughed. Wait, so what was funny about that? And then you make them explain the offensive thing they've just said, and they will not do it again.
I love that. We've done it, Chelsea.
We've done it. My God, slap a PhD on our ass and call us Susan.
Susan!
So my cutie of the week is still fairy porn. I'm going to tell the cuties I have moved on now to the Throne of Glass series. A lot of you recommended that I read that one next after the court series that I just read, and I love it. I'm on book 3.
Jesus.
The first book was very slow, but now we are cooking with Crisco.
I'm glad. But I'm also not. I'm going to submit a question next week.
How do I get rid of a co-host who won't shut the fuck up about fairy porn?
My cutie of the week is Jane Krakowski of 30 Rock fame. She also came to the theater I work at the same day as Lin-Manuel Miranda, no less. Oh. And she was just the sweetest of sweethearts. Lin-Manuel Miranda came in and was ushered to a private room so people couldn't talk to him, except that one usher who wore the purple dress, where Jane Krakowski spent all intermission talking to fans and stuff.
Makes me so happy when people that I want to be awesome are actually awesome. There's nothing worse than a celebrity you think is going to be lovely and then they turn out to be a piece of shit. I don't have any examples, but...
It's me.
Well, we're using celebrity, but okay.
Okay, cuties, that is it. One more reminder about our YouTube channel. The link is in the show notes. Like and subscribe so that we can find more followers just like you. And then they'll submit their questions and you won't feel alone because we have advice for them too. Unless you hated it.
Yeah, we have advice for everybody. The thing about us is we love telling people what to do.
We sure do. And on that note, we will talk to you later. Love you like a sister. How you doing? Bye.
Bye.